Ambassador Thexrel adjusted his ceremonial biosuit as he floated into the grand chamber of the Galactic Sovereignty Council. The massive crystalline dome stretched overhead, its walls displaying the flags of 743 member civilizations. Today they would add one more, or so he believed. The human delegation sat at the defendant's podium, looking impossibly small beneath the towering representatives of the galaxy's most advanced species. Thexrel had studied their files extensively. Humans, a young species that had barely mastered interstellar travel, still using chemical propulsion and primitive fusion drives. They had been discovered only 3 cycles ago, stubbornly clinging to their tiny blue world in an unremarkable star system. "The Council recognizes the Veltar Empire," announced the speaker, her voice resonating through bioacoustic amplifiers. Thexrel rose to his full 12-foot height, his forearms spreading wide in the traditional gesture of dominance. "Honored Council," he began, his words automatically translated into 700 languages. "We gather today to discuss the human problem. These primitives have repeatedly refused our generous offers of protection and guidance. They have rejected membership in our glorious sovereignty. They have even had the audacity to claim their system as sovereign territory." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. The crystalline Zephyrians chimed their disapproval, while the insectoid Chitauri clicked their mandibles in agreement. "For 3 cycles we have shown patience," Thexrel continued. "We have offered them technology beyond their comprehension, promised them peace under our protection, and guaranteed their species' survival in exchange for simple compliance. They have answered with silence, defiance, and most recently," his voice rose dramatically, "violence against our scout fleets." The chamber erupted in shocked harmonics and clicks. The humans had dared to fire upon galactic sovereignty vessels? It was unthinkable. "Order!" The speaker's voice cut through the chaos. "The human representative will now respond to these accusations." All eyes turned to the small figure rising from the defendant's podium. Dr. Elena Vasquez, Earth's first interstellar ambassador, looked fragile compared to the giants surrounding her. She wore a simple black suit with a small blue and green pin. Earth, Thexrel realized with amusement. How quaint. "Honored Council," Dr. Vasquez began, her voice steady despite the odds. "I stand before you today not as a defendant, but as the voice of humanity. Ambassador Thexrel speaks of generous offers and protection. Let me tell you what those offers actually contained." She touched a device at her wrist, and holographic displays materialized above the chamber floor. Legal documents, treaty proposals, and communication logs filled the air. Offer 1. Humanity would be granted protected status in exchange for relocating to designated reservation worlds. Our birth world would become a Veltar agricultural colony. Offer 2. We could maintain limited autonomy by providing 90% of our military-age population as auxiliary forces for sovereignty expansion. Offer 3. Complete integration into the Veltar Empire as a client species, with reproductive rights subject to galactic population controls. The displays shifted, showing images that made even the most hardened council members recoil. Barren worlds stripped of resources, enslaved populations in Veltar industrial complexes, client species reduced to breeding stock. "You call this protection?" Dr. Vasquez continued, her voice growing stronger. "We call it genocide with paperwork." Thexrel's forearms waved dismissively. "Primitive emotional responses. Your species lacks the perspective to understand the greater good. The galaxy demands order, efficiency, compliance. You are one small world among billions." "One small world," Dr. Vasquez repeated, and something in her tone made the chamber fall silent. "Ambassador Thexrel, you clearly haven't studied human history very carefully. Let me educate you." The holodisplays changed, showing images from Earth's past. Ancient armies facing impossible odds. Ships sailing into unknown oceans. Scientists working in basement laboratories. Explorers walking on alien moons. You see one small world. We see the planet that produced Thermopylae, where 300 warriors held off an empire. We see the species that crossed freezing oceans in wooden ships to explore new continents. We see the minds that split the atom, decoded DNA, and walked on our moon with computers less powerful than our children's toys. The displays shifted again, now showing recent footage from the Sol system. Massive orbital shipyards, fleets of vessels unlike anything in the Council's databases, weapon signatures that made the sovereignty's finest military analysts weep. You sent scout fleets to intimidate us. Dr. Vasquez said quietly. What you discovered was that in the 3 years since first contact, humanity has not been idle. We've been doing what humans do best, adapting, innovating, and preparing. Thexerol's confidence wavered as he studied the displays. Those ships, those energy readings, it was impossible. No species advanced that quickly. Impossible, he croaked. You're primitives. You barely understand quantum mechanics. Dr. Vasquez smiled, and it was not a pleasant expression. Ambassador, you made one crucial error in your assessment of humanity. You assumed that because we're young, we're weak. Because we're small, we're helpless. Because we seem primitive, we're stupid. She gestured to the displays, which now showed detailed technical specifications that made the Council's scientific advisors exchange worried glances. 3 years ago, we were using chemical rockets and fusion drives. Today we have functioning zero-point energy extraction, gravitational manipulation, and something we've started calling quantum displacement engines. We've gone from barely reaching our nearest neighbor to building ships that can cross the galaxy in weeks. The chamber had become absolutely silent. Even the Zephyrians had stopped their constant harmonic humming. How? Whispered Thexerol. Because when you threaten a human's family, their home, their freedom, you don't get compliance, Ambassador. You get innovation born of necessity. You get determination forged in desperation. You get a species that would rather die free than live as slaves, and that will move mountains to ensure they don't have to make that choice. Dr. Vasquez stepped forward, her small frame somehow commanding the attention of the entire council. So here is humanity's answer to your demand for surrender. No, not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Earth stands free, and any force that tries to change that will discover why our species survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and our own worst impulses to reach the stars. She paused, letting her words sink in. But we're not unreasonable. We're willing to discuss trade agreements, cultural exchanges, and mutual defense pacts as equals. The choice is yours, Council. You can have humanity as a friend, or you can have us as something you really, really don't want us to be. The silence stretched for long moments before the speaker finally found her voice. This session is adjourned. The Council will deliberate. As the representatives filed out in stunned silence, Thexerol remained frozen in place, staring at the human ambassador who had just redefined the galaxy's understanding of a primitive species. Dr. Vasquez collected her materials calmly, then looked up at him with eyes that held depths he was only beginning to understand. Ambassador, she said quietly, you should probably update your files on humanity. You're going to need more accurate data for future negotiations. As she walked away, Thexerol realized that the galaxy had just changed forever. Humanity had spoken and the stars themselves had listened.